Hello and welcome back to the closing thoughts video for our playthrough of Gone Home. So let's start off with the most important right off the bat. The story I feel like was interesting and absolutely worth it as an experience. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It seemed well written. It was pretty heartfelt. Well, I mean, not real well written. Well, voice acted, I guess, was what I was going to try to say, because I'm sure the story isn't necessarily what should I say, like unique, I guess, but the way it was presented was very well done, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And by presented, again, I mean the voice acting specifically and how like it was done on an emotional level. The presentation of it just being notes and like little scraps of paper, that I feel like it could have been better. It could have been done the same way that What Remains of Edith Finch was done. And again, as I previously mentioned, I'm not sure if having played that first is going to color our interpretation of this game or not, but I would assume it does, because you did see something that it was quote-unquote arguably done in a slightly more interesting way, with the narrators of their stories voicing the story and also like showing you bits and pieces of whatever that thing is. And you could have, I suppose, when reading notes, gone into that and played as Sam and interacted with Lonnie, and it would have been a little bit more personal to you as the player. So there was, I suppose, room for improvement on that front. But again, it's I don't know if it's something I would have necessarily been at odds with if I had not played What Remains of Edith Finch, as I had previously mentioned. So there's that. Okay, so the story, the notes, what else was I thinking of? Yeah, the house itself, like, it's not, like, don't misunderstand me, as I had previously again mentioned that the house feels a little bit, like, samey. I'm not saying that it's necessarily badly, I keep wanting to say populated. Let's just go with populated, although, it's not, like, populated with people, but I mean, like, populated with stuff, right? Just stuff to make you feel like the place is real. I'd say it's, like, neutral plus, like, it's relatively good, but I don't know, it still feels a little bit like a game, if you feel me, right? This doesn't necessarily, to me, feel necessarily like a house that could exist, right? Whereas the one in Edith Finch, even though it was way more zany, did feel a little bit more real because of how well populated the environment was with items and whatnot, and making it look and feel like a house that is real. Not necessarily, lived in, because this definitely makes it look lived in, right? Because there's notes and whatnot and all this other shit going on, but it makes it feel real. Like, lived in, this is fine, but as far as reality's sake, and sagging on top of that, the fact that there's so many, like, quote-unquote secret passages and nonsense leading around the house, in and of itself, cool concept, but I don't know, I feel like you could have made the house smaller and had less of that, and it would have been better that way, but, I'm not to say that exploring the house isn't fun and seeing all this like secret nonsense when you round a corner and apparently your sister and her newfound love are doing satanic rituals. That's all cool and all, but it just feels like there's too many secret passages. You know what I mean? Like one or two would have been cool, that like maybe link to a part of the house that is inaccessible otherwise. But other than that, so yeah, there's also that. What else was I thinking about? Other than that, really, I have nothing to comment on, it's just mostly a story of your sister growing up. It would have been cool if our main character had any kind of reaction to it, like, again, I don't mean to keep drawing it back to What Remains of Edith Finch, but, since that was the most recent one we played, it is on my mind. That would have been cool, although you do have those periodic, I don't know, hey, it's one of the postcards that sent, these kinds of moments, which I do actually appreciate. I think this is a cool little addition where it's not just like, this is X object, but it's like your character going, oh yeah, this is this object. Or the fact that like, that diary entry of Sam's, after a point, your character just refused to read it. I think that was kind of cool. So, there was a little bit of that, and I do understand this had come out previously, so you can just build on other people's success, so that also makes sense, but that would have also been nice. But yeah, so overall, I definitely say it's an enjoyable experience. It's definitely something not maybe necessarily blatantly obvious at the start, because at the start it is a little bit slow, but I definitely did enjoy going through that. I do wish, however, the story was maybe a little bit longer, or you got some more insight into Sam's life, because it felt like it moved a little bit faster maybe than I had thought it would, but you know, that's just a personal quibble. You know, like how let's just keep going back to it. You know how like when I said in What Remains of Edith Finch, if you did watch the closing thoughts for that, I said that the game felt 90% complete. There was just like a little bit missing. I wasn't super happy. This felt like more like maybe 70% complete, and there's like a 30% missing of just more. I don't want to say filler because that kind of has a bad connotation, but just more like more normal stuff. Just like more of her and Lonnie like digging around. I feel like would have been good since it's just voice acting, right? And you're not doing all that drawn stuff that I previously mentioned. You can probably squeeze in a few more lines and add it to a few more notes, just so there's less like silent moments in the game, you know, like when you're just walking around and like looking at random stuff. I don't know, that just, again, personal thoughts, and it is a closing thoughts video, so you know, these are my thoughts and you can take them with a grain of sodium if you will, but that's that's up to you. Yeah, a little bit longer. Yeah, I think that's about it. So you know, overall, definitely would recommend you played. Would of course, you know, not do it the same way I did it. I would definitely recommend you play this before you played What Remains of Edith Finch. Just so maybe one didn't sour the experience of the other, even if slightly, and you know, any kind of bias was formed. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have necessarily any other thoughts to contribute to it. I vaguely remember somebody complaining, it was just from my personal circle of friends, that it was billed to them as a horror game, and I mean, like, there's a couple of moments where you're like, what's going on here? But it's never like a spooky story. Like, it's clear that your family was alive here, and they all just happened to leave at the same time, and then you're just coming home, you know, alone basically, and just exploring nonsense. But you know, that's just a tangent that I don't really know why I went on, but whatever. I mean, maybe some of you have also had the concept that this may be a horror game, which I hopefully have dissuaded that notion. But yeah, so if we were to grade it, I'd say probably about 7.5 to an 8. Once again, I do want to reiterate that I did enjoy the story greatly, and you know, the story is the main motivating factor of this entire game. Or you know, without the story, then you're just looking around a house. But I do feel like there's a couple of points and moments that could have been improved or could have been hit on in a better manner. I mean, no, maybe if I had played this when it came out, I would have had a slightly different view of it. But since I have played it a few years, when did it come out? Oh Christ! Shift tab. Can we go to the store from here? No, we can't. We have to actually Alt tab. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the store page. When was this released? This was released. Oh, this was released 4 fucking years ago. Okay, yeah, no, fair enough. So I'm almost, you know, fucking actually, I'll go on record saying I'm positive that when this was released, it was probably, you know, to others, at that point, probably as good as Edith Finch was to me released now, or released recently. So, you know, take it with that consideration as well, that we have a time lapse here, and you know, usually games do, even though they may be considered great when you play them at a specific time, you know, if you play them for the first time X number of years after they've been released, you probably won't get the same kind of initial awe or satisfaction that somebody that would have played it at that point would have felt. But yeah, no, you know what, I'm rambling again, god damn it. I don't know why I have a tendency to keep doing this. Every time I started one of these closing thoughts videos, I'm like, alright, keep it to 5 minutes, you can do this. Just a quick, short thought analysis, and it always ends up being like 10. But yeah, so, that's that. Hopefully you enjoyed our playthrough of it, and if not, hey, maybe you'll enjoy whatever comes next. And what comes next, I think what we're gonna do is Outlast, the first one. Maybe we may move on to the second one after that. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to start with here. Or actually, maybe Outlast is going to already be going. I haven't figured this out yet. Anyway, ignore all that. Yes, I just want to say thank you for watching. I'd love for you to come back next time to whatever we do next time. And you know, until that time that we finally figure out what we're doing, I've been OvoCephalon, you've been the audience, and this has been Gone Home. Goodbye.